You know, in the past, I have done videos about what I call the myth of overpenetration. And lately, I've been thinking about overpenetration a lot because it seems like a couple of viewers, one viewer in particular that's being a little rude about it, has noticed that I actually use underwood ammo in some of my guns. I was carrying the Extreme Defenders in my Chiappa Rhino when I was carrying the 40 caliber, and they noticed that in my Beretta videos, I had some of the Extreme Penetrator 9mm in one of my magazines for that gun. And this one particular person decided to lecture me and be a little bit rude. He's like, "How could you be so careless? What are you, an idiot? You need to watch this video of this person that tested this ammo and see the results they got and then see if you can still justify carrying that ammo." Well, I've seen that video before, but to humor them, I went and watched it again, and nope, it didn't change my opinion at all. In this video, the person testing this ammo called Extreme Penetrator, seemed befuddled the whole time by, "This ammo is just penetrating too much, way more than I'm used to. I don't know what to do." It was just kind of weird that they would test an ammo, like I said, called Extreme Penetrator, and then portray the fact that it was penetrating more than regular ammo as kind of a failure. Then they go on in the video to say, "I would never carry this stuff because it penetrates too much. It went through like 2 blocks of gel and some water jugs. I would never carry this ammo." And when they were questioned in the comment section below of, why not? Why would you not want an ammo that penetrated very well? They said, "Well, I wouldn't want the legal liability of shooting a bad guy at passing all the way through them, hitting someone else behind them, and then getting sued by the person behind them." And you know, I have no problem with them having that opinion. They can have their own opinion about anything they want. They don't even have to justify it. They can make their decisions based on whatever they want to make their decisions on. But you know what? Don't preach stuff like that as gospel to people that are watching videos without showing them the math and the logic behind it. Because if you look at the math behind this belief, it really doesn't hold much water, especially when you think about what's the likelihood of an overpenetration actually happening, and then if it does happen, what's the likelihood of someone being harmed? Now, I know a lot of us have hunted before in our life, and a lot of us have shot everything from small game like raccoons up to deer with ammos that would go through 5 or 6 blocks of gel with no problem, but don't overpenetrate on the animal. That's because gel is not a good representation of an actual living body. It just represents soft tissue, and we're not all just soft tissue. I know even I have shot a small doe, and I didn't do a lot of rifle hunting when I was younger. I mostly bow hunted, but I have shot a small doe with a rifle that would go through 4 or 5 blocks of gel, but it didn't overpenetrate the deer. It killed her, but it didn't go through the other side. And you know, Tim from the Military Arm Channel, he actually did a real world test of this same ammo against a medium-sized to small pig. Didn't overpenetrate the pig, and that pig was about the size of a grown man, and it was fine. So the chances of actually having overpenetration when you shoot a body that actually has bone and dense muscle and organ tissue, etc. in it is pretty slim. It's not likely to happen, period. But even if it did happen, you also have to figure out some other things. You have to figure out, okay, if that bullet does hit that target where I want to hit it, then it actually comes out the other side. What's the likelihood of, during an active threat situation where this person I'm shooting at is an active threat, of there being other people just loitering around that haven't already run for their lives, and one of those people standing right behind him in the path of the bullet, and then the bullet actually has to strike them, and we know how hard it is to hit something you're actually aiming at. Hitting something by accident is even less likely. That bullet actually has to strike them, and then it actually still has to have enough force after traveling through an entire body of bone and muscle, etc., to actually do them serious harm. Now you're talking about a risk that you're going to have to use a lot of zeros after the decimal point to even represent the percentage chance of it actually happening. Well, I don't know about you. I don't know if that tiny chance is enough for you to say, you know what, I'm going to carry an ammo in my gun that's less than optimal. I'm going to carry a weaker round simply because I'm worried about that happening. I myself, I would not say that. I will still carry the round that I think is the most capable of stopping the threat, because stopping the threat is going to be my number one priority in an active threat situation, not worrying about some remote possibility that isn't very likely to happen. But I want to talk to the people out there that do think that that is enough of a risk to alter what you carry in your gun. If you accept that that is enough of a risk to alter what you carry, then I don't think you should carry a gun at all, because the chances of you having an overpenetration are far less than you actually just missing your target and hitting something behind them. I don't think there's anyone out there in the handgun world that will tell you that your chance of having an overpenetration is even noticeable next to your chances of missing that target. In fact, missing that target multiple times under stress. Heck, that's the reason most people use to justify carrying a gun with the largest capacity possible, because they say you're going to miss. And if you're going to miss, well, you don't want a round that might hurt the person behind them if you do miss. If you use that same logic you're using to say you don't want a round that might overpenetrate, you have to say I don't want a round that would hurt someone if I miss and hit somebody else, which would be pretty much any round. Any round is going to be able to hurt someone in the background if you miss your target. So you wouldn't be able to justify carrying any ammo in your handgun at all if you use that same logic. Oh, and here's a little legal side note that I personally wasn't smart enough to come up with, but a friend of mine that works in a legal field was smart enough to come up with. He said that if you actually strike someone properly with an ammo that was designed and marketed to be a self-defense round, and it overpenetrates and harms someone in the background, in the unlikely case you're actually found liable for that, the manufacturer of that ammo could share liability with you. If you actually just miss someone and strike someone else, that's all on you. So like I said, if you accept the fact that you are far more likely to miss your target and hit something in the background than you are to overpenetrate your target and hit something in the background, and you accept the fact that you're going to have more legal liability if you do miss, well, I don't see how you can use this logic at all to justify your decision to not carry the best round. In fact, I can't see how you can justify carrying a gun at all. If you're that worried about collateral damage, I don't see how you can actually carry a gun and feel good about it. But once again, I'm not here to tell you what to carry or what to worry about. That is totally up to you. I'm not telling you what to do. All I'm telling you is before you make a video preaching something like this as gospel, or before you watch a video where someone says something like this and you take it as gospel, well, first apply a little math to it, apply a little logic to it, and see if it makes any sense.